Okay. Well, I just happened to get into this trade here, and I don't have. I just didn't delete the objects. So this is like a trading journal. Now these are all limits, and I did change the script now that it's filled. So this is like move take profits on confirmation. Confirmation is that you're filled at low price, not the fact that it broke out. It's a different kind of fill. So it's a different mindset too, I suppose. Depending on how big you got into this trade, you'd be tempted maybe to dump it, or do you go do something else and just let it go to fruition? Let this thing go up another 20 pips, maybe, whatever have you. You also could have sold this is the weekly chart. You could have sold the trap from back here. You could have put sell limits in. I say you could have. So most people wouldn't, because there's probably no fib handles up there. So the truth is that there's just no fibs for, there's no ratio like that. There is a kind of a path of least resistance, is what Williams calls it. And I think that is the hole. So when it falls in the hole. And then you have this small range, and then once again a spike into the void, and that's a quick and dirty satisfaction, and then it rips the other way. Probably people cashing out here, and depending on how I space my exits, so I've got like a hard stop. I'm in here. Didn't do any other trading on this thing, and I could claim, I could just dazzle people, I'm sure, with just, this is the only trade I do all year on this account. They're like, wow, look at this guy, he's killing it. Yeah, that's the only trade he did all year. So how many times can you repeat this trade? And there was divergence even on RSI here. That's what I'm talking about. I mean, and we didn't take out the low. This is actually a perfect setup where if you pull the trigger on divergence, it has not taken out the low of divergence. So if anybody's into divergence, I don't want to go too complicated. I'm trying to get this objects deleted. I don't want to delete that. So now I have a button called delete all objects on most of my things, and I typically clear these off. But if I wanted to keep a journal of the original exit, and then of course if you really were some type of, well, I'm going to document everything I do, this journal idea, with the scripts, you'd have to take a picture of the screen here with your trend lines, the reason you took the trade, that kind of stuff. But writing down a journal and just like, today I didn't kill anybody, stuff like that. So I don't know. I'm not into journal writing. I'm writing the shit in my head all day long, thinking, what the fuck? What about this? What about that? Should I do this? Should I do that? Well, I can do that later. Well, price will change. Why do it? In other words, would you go to the store and buy all your groceries for the whole month? Well, maybe you would. But in these markets, you can go shopping every day for something different on a 4-hour chart. If you're truly looking for the setup regardless of PIP, so it's a completely different world. People looking for a setup regardless of PIP is a whole different world than saying, I have a limited incremental risk I'm willing to sink into these markets. If you're going to swing trade it, now you could have bought, you can see all the places you could have bought if you're willing to just throw orders out there willy-nilly. If you bought every 100-yard line, there was a point in time when that Hundi became, you were up almost 200 pips. You were up 200 pips if you bought the very tip of the wick and dumped the tip of the wick into this. And it's a confirmed downtrend. In fact, this is the only golden fill. is the trailing. It's taking out the money management bots that are short and they run, or people that, same thing, right? You got 1, 2, 3, 4 trailing stops as they're starting to snug up. If they sold this, and these are just clean breakouts, these are just, I'm cherry picking the best of this chart. Of course. Who isn't? This is the smallest bar. Everybody's in on this trade. It's a flag. It's a this. It's a that. Everybody's fucking in. Then everybody's in on limits here. All the people that want to really gobble this up and they don't care about 500 pips against them. So if you're buying a 1K here, right, and then you could still dump into this. You still had that chance on the dailies. Now it looks like, okay, they want to come after the bears. Who just went short? Well, maybe one person, maybe a million. We don't even know. But we wouldn't care because we could see their trade from the standpoint of turtle trading. Let's just qualify. Does anybody know what turtle trading is? Turtle trading is trend trading in Goober stop entry method. The only problem with them is they ended up getting killed because they kept getting triggered on fake breakouts. So the oldest question is it a breakout or is it a fake out? Well, 80% is fake out. So how do you trade in the current of the price pulse? Well, you're really going to try to trade the pullback in Elliott wave terms of you're going to try to buy 2 or 4. 4 is going to be dicier because it's a consolidation where the market drifts in a no man's land. Right now, the looks like gold's ready to, according to RSI, gold on the weekly is ready to tank. But the into that hole, and Bitcoin's in a triangle of some type of some wave 4, and this thing's slamming through the floor. This Australian dollar, and people will make all sorts of suppositions why this is going on. But I think it's the path of least resistance argument that we have not been into this C below here. And now if you consider this to be the auction trap, so there would be a trap to here, and then there is the monster trap all the way back to the floor. That's a possible move. Plus the fact that as soon as this becomes more overbought at a lower price, and it queues up with this, everybody's going to be like, you're going to have trend people getting in here, and they want to take it lower. They want to go down here with it, right? People that have built a channel are dreaming of that target. Not everybody has the same dream. So what about the auction factor where it's unfair value right now? You're at the edge of the market. Unsustainable. And whereas the ultimate trap is everything below this wick right now on the weekly. So a lot of people are going to be cashing out here. I'm going to get out of a few tickets there. Now, do I come back in? And how do I, if I really think it's going to come to here, is it worth getting on the 4-hour train for one more burp? How much can you squeeze out of these markets? And of course, you should be able to do that if you've got 3 trade plans: limit, stop, market. And those are basically, you're handing somebody a market order and saying, go make money with a market order. They're like, holy shit, that's a pain in the ass, because it's really not logical as far as the swing world's concerned. You're just getting killed. I should do this thing on this Greystone. Just did a video on getting in the market. And it's so funny because he got in at the market and it came really close to a stop, and then later on in the video it's like here, and like he goes from one currency to the other without saying which currency he's on, and I'm like, this is so fucking, dude, you're like people are saying about Peterson, which I always knew Peterson was a liberal, if anybody's into Jordan Peterson, but people are barking about him. Of course, this is what these people do. They're running a business. I don't want the responsibility of running a business. And it's like, you just got to, somebody's got to be a coach, right? It's so funny. This guy I met at Starbucks a couple of years ago, or somebody, and I said, "What do you do?" And they said, "I'm a life coach." And I'm like, "God, can you help me not blow my brains out waiting for the market to get into my order?" I guess anybody, you could just probably have somebody who doesn't know shit about the market come over and life coach you while you sit there and shit your pants in some trade. They change your depends for you. Like you're telling them, yeah, I was told to put an order here at this new lows here from last year, and damn nabbit if I didn't get filled. It took fucking, took like 3 months to get filled on that ticket. So I don't have those kind of patience, and I'm not going to live that long, so. But let's not go to the 1 minute chart and try to scalp with a 5 pip spread with a 3 pip take profit. Not that you can do it, but you got to put an 8 pip stop on that to make 3. And if you're really good at trading, yes, you could do it. End of the world stop method. But you better be working, hustling, because you got to babysit the chart, and you're like, oh yeah. Whereas if you just threw a pending in that's 3 pips deep, but there's this guy in Brazil that I talked to, and he just was ridiculous. I made a video about him because he wanted to get in with a 2 pip stop in the British pound and shit. And I was like, dude, what are you fucking? He wanted to trade bigger and bigger. He was a big Albert Brooks fan, and I'm like, but dude, this is like ordering coffee cups. The shipping and handling is $5. The cup's $3. I mean, it's like Amazon. It says 1 penny for the item. Shipping's $5. Okay, you better have some more shit in your cart, or you better order something from this person. But if you only do 1 trade a week like that, another thing is watching this Greystone try to explain how trading's a business, and I'm going to probably have to talk over him to just try to help him out. I feel bad for the guy. He's trying to make this metaphor, and I was like, dude, you're just butchering this. It's just like a business. It's like you've got the only cost of doing business is the spread, the swap, the fucking your computer's on. There's no fucking, if you're paying commissions and spread, and you're paying for the upkeep on your computer, then what is it costing you? The rest is all mental. And loss is part of the, if you were doing computers right now and buying memory, you'd be like having to hedge that in some way. It's the whole commodities thing's built on the farmers trying to protect themselves against volatility. So I don't know. It's just like, but it is true. He says it's random. So he's saying it's a random reward. But so is real business. Real business is just like this. You make some music and you spend a bunch of money and nobody gets to hear it. Or you invent something and somebody steals it. Or you, what's the difference? I get it. Most people that have traded, most people that have come to trading never own their own business. So I've done that for years, and it's brutal because the landscape's constantly changing. So you can tell me about this and that, but as soon as I came out with digital, although it's not like we're all not benefiting from that, but if you know how to benefit from it, I guess, is the key. Do you know how to benefit from in other words, if you're going to do sector rotation and try to keep up with shit. So the volatility's dying. I wonder what's going to happen in the stock market here. Is I think we're going to have to go sideways for a while. It looks like the calm before the storm. I hate to sound like a doomsday person, but I mean, as far as the volatility is kind of simmering down, and if gold takes out the lows and keeps tanking, It goes down this hole here, then it's going to be ugly for gold. So gold's been in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 month decline. And in Forex, they would call that sliding. And it could just keep on tanking. That'd be very interesting. I'd love to see it. Go into here. So this hole goes back to this floor here on this one particular month. Then I'm seeing my crystal ball. It's better than Fibonacci. I'm seeing this giant chasm down here, which would be so bizarre if we could look at this, how tight that doji is there. Doji closes into the wick here, and then it takes off for an amazing rally that is totally fucked over when it gets to here. Right, trapped up there twice in those treetops. Trapped very precisely in that rooftop and never takes out this wick. Oof. So, but I'm biased. I think gold's ridiculously priced. Doesn't make sense to me. It didn't at this price. Well, the end of the world's coming. Gold's a safe haven. Dude, so is food. I mean, people are going to buy food before they buy gold, right? When the zombie apocalypse comes. Well, no. And that's another big fallacy. What do you think's going to fucking happen to the price of gold if the world comes to an end? It'll be at 528. People will be selling like a whore. And then you're gonna go and say, well, at least I got in at 6. Dude, it's going to take out 600. What if it takes out 600? So it's very interesting. And we have this huge top bottom here, the launching pad. So that's the big kahuna pivot. What's going to happen here? So it's very fascinating. Markets are going to be crazy. And the wheels are going to come off. Dodger Blue. I always like Dodger Blue on the phone. I'm pretty sure I fixed the scale, but it's not letting me. Okay. So here we're coming in that window. Look at this thing gap. Down. Brutal. Here's a flag. And so RSI is giving me a sell on gold. I've got a couple gold charts up here. I know I got the... it's a negative reversal, Andrew Cardwell style. Okay. I got too many charts up here. Please hold. What am I looking for? I forgot now. Gold. Oh, yeah. There's gold in them hills. Oh, I got the S&P. I mean, these things are out of control. What are these people thinking? Every time I see a market like this, I'm like, you're kidding, right? Like, who's not selling this fucker up here in this trap? Jesus Christ. That's a scalp. Look at that whore. What in the economy sucks. Well, numbers are... Dude. You're just pushing a string. They raised interest rates. Still, there's so much regulation, you could die. You gag a maggot. Here we go. Let's try to move this fucking... try to manipulate this price here. Give me that scale. So step away from the platform, will you? Honey, he's fucking with the platform again. Look at, they just hunted the breakout guy. We got in here like they said on that candle. Okay, we had a weekly close there. What do we have? There's that naked trader guy going, well, we're waiting for a big pin bar. Okay, I got it, the pin bar, but dude, how do you trade a pin bar? To me sounds like volatility, like, oof. What is a fucking pin bar anyways? It's one of those big bars. Pin bar, like pin your account. I think they did stop hunt some trend traders here. Don't you know? Look at that. They just went back and just nabbed that. But is the goober right? Gooberbot got trapped here. No fill on that. This guy's up. The guy that sold these rooftops and could withstand this much move, he's up. Did he get out at a retest? Probably on something. The winner did. Where's the winning trades? Buy stop, buy stop. That's a fucking killer. Here's the only other amazing fucking trade. Low volatility, mechanical breakout, go with the flow. Better get the fuck out because they come back to your entry. Actually, if you trailed like a fucking true goober, you put a buy stop, sell stop, got filled, move your stop here to break in, got stopped out, and then you're like pissed off you didn't ride it up to here. So textbook trading is just good for like one robot. You gotta think stuff like one goober bot. Okay, 5 goober bots, then start to get sophistication. Things laying limits out there based on a giant move. So big spike, it's going to throw in more limits. Robot's aware of the last range. Big range means limits above and below. This way you're taking into account what could happen next. Objectively, from this moment forward, what could possibly happen. And, you know, this is what you got to consider. So the, every moment's unique, every week is unique, every year is unique. What's going to happen? And all these orders, you could have sold the S&P 500 up here like a fucking idiot. People would say, well, if I tried that trade plan here, then I lost. Did you? I guess if you didn't take profits here. But if you got in here, and you got out here, you did pretty good. Or even here. Say you sold this new high and then you went short. In other words, if you sold this on a limit, so if you can see the combo plate here, if you use all 3 strategies at once, here you're buying at the market, it's down hard on the weekly. Here you bought at the market because it's down in an uptrend. How do you know it's an uptrend? Because the last price pulse was up. That's simple. Shouldn't be any more complicated than that. Up hard, any pullback you're buying. Okay, so you bought here. If you sell here really hard because it's up hard, you sell lightly, sell kind of hard, sell really hard. How did you do on that trade? Just imagine you don't have to worry about stops, but you're trading small enough for it to be okay. So you don't sell, okay, you sell hard, really sell light, small, and maybe get stopped out. You sell really hard, kind of hard, super hard, maybe a little bit. Here comes your sell bot. He's getting filled on confirmation of filling this hole on the S&P 500 all the way to that basement. Gee, I wonder why it turned around down there. This is ICT. Will spend all day with the fucking dollar index and fucking all that bullshit. Dude, this happens on any time frame. If you can see this undercut where the top became the bottom, if you can see this hole left behind by all this price climbing. Top becomes a bottom, the S&P 500. It does not stop out these people. You do not get filled on your limits. Your market orders got filled precisely. You're buying every pullback in an uptrend. You don't know anything else. Try it. Like that fucker said, Renko, try it. First do it with 1K. Buy, 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 buy at the market. It's down. buy, buy, buy. Problem is, it's getting heavy. This is a record, and this is a historical record high. You know, if you're going to look at the big picture of, and this goes down to the investor level, like SEAL Team 6 guy, what could possibly go wrong at this price? Wow. I guess it could just keep going up. If this is a real breakout and not a fake out, then we're going to come do a little house cleaning down here. We're going to ramp up, and we're just going to go forever, right? I don't know, man. This here is one motherfucker move, and this is, to me, is all tax shit. This is April. I'm sorry, this is what are you talking about? This is here's April. But this is coming, this is people dumping stuff on the quarter. And look at the it even retests down here and takes out this. So this is like 3 times there. Jesus. So if this double top doesn't hold, we could still dick around. So how many, there's so many scenarios here. Jesus, you could come down here. Would you be a willing buyer here? Well, fuck, I would. I have limits pending all the way to here. In fact, just to make it simple, well, I'd have a ton of orders right here, though. I have way more orders under this undercut because this is the same fractal as this undercut here. When I say undercut, you're looking at the market profile style. Looking down it. Compressing all the data into one bar. One, well, a profile. So you've turned it sideways. And it's a great concept. The problem I had with it is they had ABC letters and they had all these rules, and I'm like, I hate rules, so I'm out. I can just visually see what's going on for me. I can see all the channels without drawing them. So I could draw the channels. Also, this is the another. This happens in Forex quite a bit. Most markets apparently. A total measured move. Now people love this move. Goes up, one pullback, continues for almost the equal. Goes beyond the equal length of that. What explains the? There is a 3-week basement here. Then there's this backfill, but this has never been charted in all that time. Never makes it to this. Never here. But what if so what if this is a fake out? Then what's going to happen? Are we going to start the biggest bear market and they'll blame it on Trump? So it's pretty wild. I don't know if anybody's, I guess I watch too much YouTube, but I'm up on most of the social, I think I am. But there is the show on TV, and then there's reality. So people are still broke. People are still stealing stuff and killing people. And people are still trying to game the system. So it's not paradise. I mean, I think that all the welfare is still there. And supposedly, and this is the funny thing, is you hear about that Trump spent all this money because he reduced taxes. Well, they're going to get way more revenue back just in that. Besides, it doesn't matter anyways. Taxes for revenue are obsolete, and taxes for the debt are obsolete. That's the only thing that kind of triggered me with the SEAL Team 6 guys. He said taxes for revenue are obsolete, which I heard years ago from a Marine. And he was into that. And so that's, It is true now. It does not matter what anything's worth. It used to. But once you intervene there's too many places to go now. Like in the olden days, there was just, he did have gold, silver, and maybe tobacco became a commodity, and then for the barter system world. And if you're going to talk to these, dare I say, like the totally alt flat earthers, or the people that think the end of the world's coming, or, the Pizzagate kind of people, people that are just, they need a hobby. How is your mind, this is when you start to see Jesus on a Ritz cracker kind of shit. But that's happening all the time in these markets. People are totally being Rorschach to death here. You can say, based on, some guy asked me about the probability chart. This guy who's doing all these chart patterns say, well, this is the highest probability for a bearish engulfs, or the highest. Some guy once said that. I said, well, okay, great. What about, it's an engulf on the half hour, but it's a hammer on the 1 hour. Now what do I do? What's the better pattern? The hammer or the engulf? That totally blows candlestick trading on its ear. That's why candlestick trading is bullshit from the standpoint of telling me, well, hammers have an 80% chance and engulfs have a 40% chance. Well, all I have to do is switch time frame. And if you really want to do candlesticks and have an edge that nobody else has, get a 2-day chart and start it on Monday, Tuesday. Have 5 2-day charts running. Now start on different days. 3-day charts. You can see where it's a bottomless pit. Then you're going down Rankoville, where you're going to pick a box to filter your shit through. It's like auto-tune. You know that Ranko reminds me of auto-tune. Okay, well, you just blew away the whole, like auto-tune for birds. The birds outside your window. Yeah, I mic them up, and I think they're not on keys. So what I do is I mic them up and I run through auto-tune. Like, that's really weird sounding. It sounds so synthetic. I think the market's more organic than your Fibonacci. It's too chaotic, and nobody likes chaos. Nobody likes a surprise. I came home, somebody stole some of my gear today. So, I was like, really? God, dude. Like, I thought I'd hidden out from the world as much as I possibly could, go off the grid and everything, but so the markets are churning away chaotically into the end of the year here. As we go north, S&P 500, what the fuck is going on here, people? You make the call. Sadly, it looks like it's going to keep going up. I know it defies anything you've ever seen in your life. And there's people, I would definitely think there was a scalp there, but wow. I don't think it's on the weekly. I have a hard time selling that right now. In fact, on the weekly, my system says you should have bought last week, and you're hoping maybe you can scalp out of this into the floor from a week ago. My system only goes back 3 bars. That's my exit for the scalp. The breakout, the trap. I would be putting sell limits up here if I was an S&P 500 trader, no questions asked. All next year, sell limits, buy limits, see you buy. Problem solved. I mean, I can wrap up trading real quick for you. Nobody's going to like this. Here's the trade here. We sold up into the CN. We who sold. There's my tickets. There's proof that I pulled the trigger. Whether that's real or fake money is inconsequential. It's the fact that you showed up and you did what you were supposed to do. If this is the buy, which it is, it's because it's blue. How long did those tickets last? Was that a good place to get in? Fuck yes. That is a 25 pip grid. So inside that grid thing, hopefully the one that I put on the last video, you can change it to whatever grid you want. Rename it. That should be all you need to trade. Sure, you can sit here and put fucking fantasy trend lines into all this bullshit and go, look, it broke your... Yeah, but did you sell there? Stop it with the fucking... I can't watch. I only watch to criticize. There's a point at which you become hypersensitive. Like people say your hearing gets worse when you get older. Mine's getting better. So I'm annoyed. Okay, you got an ambulance? Dude, get a fucking directional goddamn siren on that thing. Or do something. It's so I got my window down. What do I gotta have, fucking soundproof car now? Some motherfucker in a Harley isn't even as loud as a siren. And my adrenaline's just like, stop it. I'm pulling over for you? Fuck you, take another road. Let the fucker twist in the wind. Whoever fucked up, it's let Darwin kick in. I'm sorry. No, I'm just getting pissed off. Don't coddle these fucking losers. Let them fucking die. It just cracks me up that people are like, oh yeah, like... I saw people complaining about this one broker, and I thought, dude, of course it's a problem. All trading's a problem. They're like, well, I can't believe it. Dude, I've seen spreads on this one broker go to fucking, for 5 minutes, they go to like, yeah, because the broker's telling you, dude, we don't hold shit overnight. We're a day trading broker. Fucking duh. You know, it's not going to lock that spread through Asia for you. What a fucking idiot. Well, of course, these are people that have only traded at one broker. And well, is my money safe? Dude, you're trading. You got to consider that whole account's at risk. I mean, you think they're going to honor your stop if they assassinate the President of the United States? At this point, the amount of people on the internet, and who knows, you know, people say, I love this one, well, the retail traders don't have enough money to move a market. Well, they're in there. Who knows? How about this argument? If 90% of retail traders are losers, aren't they moving the market? Well, they're not trading as big as the other traders, supposedly. Yeah, maybe combined. They're at 50% of the market. 90% moron goobers out there, supposedly. This is the thing. Oh, so we have to cut down the... Wow, those poor people are losing trading. Jesus Christ, man. It's the only freedom you can have in your fucking life is to be able to look at this fucking market, dude. As it breaks out and marches up this fucking ridiculous, like, perfect trend line. How often do you get a fucking beautiful, drifty, perfect trend like that? Never again. Dude, wake up. This shit is fucking... You cannot tell me, well, see it... Okay, great, but dude... Where's the other trend line like that? There isn't one. They don't exist. Every piece of data here is unique, and then people want to... It's the oldest story in the book. You cannot curve fit a robot to trade this. You can curve fit a robot to trade this shit, and then after this, it blows up. Everything you see on the internet where they have some thing that's making all this money, all it did was fucking find a rule set for a data set that killed it. If that thing was allowed to trade before or after that data set, it has to blow up. There's no fucking way these markets are going to give you the same moves. Look at this amazing fucking breakout back here. Look at this. Comes back for just not even no... Is there a 160? Is there a 30? Is there a fib there? Holy shit. And then once it takes out this... Look at this. This is the sell on limits. Comes back. Holy shit, everybody's aboard the train. Look the fuck out. Katie bar the door. Look at this pullback, and what a sweet entry. Buy at the market. Buy at the market. No questions asked. Buy at the market. Buy at the market. Buy at the market. You're long 3. Did you hold on it here? Probably not, but look, you could have bought here at the market. Every pullback. You need a 618 for that shit? Dude, pull back, fucking buy. Shut up. What are you doing with that 618 shit on your screen? Who? who made that shit even possible? And here's what's making this yen look scary though. Don't think it's going to keep going. Like I said, I do have the dream that it's going to break out in the triangle, but something's going terribly wrong now here. This looks just like the S&P 500. And so I'm going to delete this shit off of here and zoom in. So that was the scalp. I talked about that in the other video. This is your ICT trade. There's a trade block here, right? In other words, there's a hole up here. So I said, if you place sell limits in that hole, how's that trade working out? And the eager beavers like me are selling here, and I'm just up on that ticket if I put a 100 pip stop. These are 25 pip handles. I can make a 50 pip grid, a 25 pip grid, a 10, a 5, a 2, 100. You could make a 200 pip grid. You'd be surprised. Then you're going to say shit like, holy fuck, look at this thing turn around on the 200 pip grid. No shit. Look at the 1,000 pip grid or the 500 pip grid. You're like, oh, I get it. But if it's turning around in a 400 in a 100 pip zone at the 500 pip handle, then are you just going to trade the turnaround and go, wow, you're going to trade this turnaround here? Are you going to ride it all the way into this hole? Are you going to range? This is range trading, but I'm sure a lot of people would say this is on an uptrend. Now it's on a downtrend. So which is it? Fucking please tell me. I mean, what people say stuff that is so ridiculous. Oh, I'm buying on pullbacks. Okay, are you? No, you're buying on some fib shit. Just put orders in here. Well, okay, I'm buying on pullbacks. Buy limit, buy limit, buy limit. Next question. Okay, so for me, analysis is like the trading is so fucking boring and so limited in time consumption. It takes a lot more time to put a door lock on. You know, just changing your oil on your car or just putting your fucking clothes on is harder. I got rid of I'm wearing loafers now. I bought some shoes with laces, and I go, what the fuck am I doing? Spending half my life tying these fucking laces. Who is the motherfucker that came up with that shit? And then I was in jail once in Chicago. I was in the Cook County Jail, and they took away my shoelaces. I was like, what the fuck? I should have worn loafers. It's a drinking incident. I had one beer, put me in jail, because I was angry. Was down there on business. It was a business meeting. So, wow. The weekly dollar yen. I think that it's Bob City now. So scalping on the daily. Oh, I think it looks like it's going to tank now. So here's the Gooberbot trade. Low volatility, sell stop, buy stop. Now that trade's not for everybody, but that's only a 35 pip flag. And I'm going to say that I want to have buy limits here, 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 and this is the daily chart. So it definitely was a lot of white knuckles coming into. If you sold into that, this is your only scalp on the daily. Here is your inside of here. There might be a scalp that's better than that. And then if you were to just keep selling, sell, and build into strength, counter. So people that don't like counter trend trading, I get it. They don't want to go underwater. They don't want to ride this big monster defiant. They want to be a trend trader. So your trend trading entry is buy and limit here, and then pick up the bulls protection stops here. If you're going to trend, this is your trend, and there's the blow off top, and this is such a hurried When you backfill this on the dailies, this is what causes that rush in, just gushing through this because you're cutting into recent history. Right, this hole that starts right here goes all the way back to here. It's pretty profound, but this rooftop here is the big deal, and it never makes it to this, which is still another target to come. It's probably down the road, but without drawing a trend line on that. I just think that it's too much. Like, people are always so I understand that the trend line stuff, why it's people are saying, oh, trend lines don't work. Yeah, because they're so complicated in a sense, and they're so subjective. Because what are you doing at that trend line? Are you counter trend trading it, or are you trend trading it? So this is the other big hysterical zone. And if we keep compressing it, so this is the trend line argument on close. We broke out, we pulled back, we bought here. If you draw it on close, which is tighter than on wicks. So the closing prices, I think, is the ultimate for channels. Plus, it gives you a nice envelope. So you have a wick envelope here. If you look at the, so if you're going to do the momentum geometry, I guess you'd call this, because momentum does exist. I mean, Mark, there is a follow through, and if you have the wick windows, so anything that comes in here, and so the whole point of these Andrews pitchforks is not that you get the pitchfork drawn the right way. All it is doing is giving you a window to limit your trading. So if you put an Andrews pitchfork in here, you are taking all the trades in there. So fuck Andrews pitchfork. How about Psycho Fork? Okay, you need to think in terms of, if this is a 25 pip grid, and you're going to put in like your fork, or you can put a Fibonacci fork in here. Right? Can you see that? Or logarithmic, let's just say. And all of these are available. Prices. Don't you want to gobble up all that envelope? And dare I say Bollinger Band? Same concept. Like dual. If you're going to do Bollinger Bands, you have dual Bollinger Bands, and you're going to get in at the extreme. Like that black trader says, yeah, I see that thing. I think that thing pop, I get out. I'm out. But see how narrow the window is here. Look how narrow the wick window is here compared to here. So when this thing smashes below close, and so for the entry, for me, if I want to force a trade, how to force a trade? I'm going to draw a trend line on these two tops, and I'm looking for that to break, but I want to get in before it breaks on the edge of the channel the other way off of this. Look at now, if you believe in auction trap below, it's so compressed here that it is based on the last price pulse, based on recent momentum. I mean, I'm only going back like 5 days, so this is a, you know, this like linear regression kind of. There was I had TradeStation for about 5 years. So I knew TradeStation and paint bars, and I built paint bars, and I did a bunch of paint bar stuff in here too. And I like this little thing called linear regression, which kind of project out. I've also got an indicator here called, it's in some of these platforms, and it's called, gosh, it's called, gotta hunt it down now. Let's see if I can find it. Because I don't use it because it's too, like, it's just like the problem with Renko. You have to pick a box. I don't want to pick. I want to pick one. I want everything to be super tight. It's just one. And we can see the sellers just came in here on the monthly, and they just plucked it off these rooftops here, so they're coming back. Do you want to buy the monthly pivot? Sure. Do you want to buy the 618? Sure. Okay. Fucking buy it all. I just don't get the laziness, but it's true. People are lazy. You buy the 618, you buy the this, you buy that. Plus you're going to buy here, right? Because of that. A bunch of reasons to buy. Look at this perfect 50 pip window here. But this looks like an obvious buy for a bounce. I don't know if I'd go short right now. I think I want to go long. And so here's the 4-hour bot. So some guy in the comments was talking about the 4-hour entry. And you could also trade the limit entry here if you're going to buy this basement. And this, you're buying this void here. This void doesn't matter because that got filled earlier. So if you're going to play the 4-hour wick fake breakouts, you're talking about a breakout that's really a 12-hour breakout. So you'd see this as just nicking that. Right? You never got the breakout. You never got the nicked breakout here, but you did on the 8-hour chart. So if you MT4, this is your goal. This is another goal. This floor was taken out pretty harshly on the daily. And buying here did not save you the punishment of it overshooting. So if you had a buy limit here and a buy limit here, but if you had a rack in here and you scalped it here on something, you could be getting out into Asia right now. Bring up my clock here. Shit, I gotta get out of drawing mode there. So I have my 248 clock. 24810. We could just trade at the. It was funny the Forex Hangout guy said, "I don't get why would you get in at on London Open." Well, yeah, the London Open breakout, sure, do that trade, but don't do your whole account on that fucking trade. I mean, I bet that even fucking works, right? The London breakout works sometimes, but here, like I said, there's two worlds. Either you're gonna fucking calculate everything, well, maybe not, right? Let's not be all or nothing. Maybe you're gonna haphazardly calculate. You got 3 accounts. You're gonna be like, there's $300 in each account. This account's doing pretty good. The other accounts are sitting there waiting to get filled. I mean, how much action? How much do you need to have going on to feel like your money's working for you? So the anxiety of having money that's not working for you, that can be a problem, because say you've got, you're leasing your car, so therefore you got extra money to blow. If you're trying to force every trade for no good reason, at least set a trend line. You could say, look, dude, I am let's assume we're in a trend. I'm counter trend ending. Let's assume I'm going to trend trade it. When do I get on the trend? Pick the time frame. And you'll find there's more setups on the smaller time frames, but the cost is higher. The spread, the cost of trading goes up. Plus, to make it worth your while for a small pip move, you need to trade bigger. Now it really costs you because the spread is really against you in a percentage of account loss. If you do 5 trades a week and the 4-hour chart on 10 currency pairs, and they play out, do you run each instrument on a separate account? Do you run them all in one account and pull the take all profits because you're up and you just want to be out of the trade so you can go to sleep? You don't want to think about moving your stops and all this bullshit. Now, if you're going to have a robot come in and manage your stops for you, that may be the only robot you have is a money management bot, which is a realistic robot that's just going to say, oh, you're up here, let's just come up with some trailing stop loss or percentage. Now you got to worry about that fucking number. And are you going to override that? How much risk are you going to take? So this account, the last account that I ran, just ran it to the wall and then blew it up. It was in so big. So many tickets. And I'm sure if the money management bot would have taken me out of the whole thing and gone, dude, you just doubled the account or tripled it. You need to get the fuck out of it. So what is the criteria for the robot even clearing out of this shit? Is it going to run, let your profits run, which means have a goober trailing stop and end up break even and you never make your full thing? Or is it going to just go and peel stuff off for you so you're scaling out? Or is it going to stay with the initial risk and run really wide trails? So the whole idea of a trailing stop. And whenever people talk about this shit, they're, I'm going to go back test that, see if it works. You're kidding, right? You're going to take one scheme and we all know that scheme will work sometimes. But how much work do you want to do if you're going to run 10 accounts? So at some point we're going to have to do some PAM trading. But because you need to have these things do what they do in an isolated thing and see, okay, that guy's doing pretty good like that. You don't want to trade too heavy on a mechanical stop entry system. And then you have your, well, you could just be the robot and place the orders, which is the ultimate, to be the bot, because if the bot is blind to the reality of the situation, and maybe you have to, I don't want to say break a rule, but you got to come up with new rules. If you're going to buy in a stop 5 pips above you because that's a rooftop that's itching to be broke out and you think it's going to break clean, well, what if you're wrong? Should you be buying 5 pips deep on a limit for the next 2 hours with an 8-hour buy stop above you? As soon as you do that, it's different than having an 8-hour buy stop and sell stop, or an 8-hour buy stop and buy limit. The exposure, so you can back test that, and I can guarantee you, because I like when I change a script, just before I test it, I can almost tell you how it's going to do, because in my mind's eye, I can see this thing getting its ass kicked. I can see it being a genius. How long does the script last, and what time frame am I in, and how often am I asking it to be launched? And of course, I couldn't control that very well inside there because I can't fucking tell what's going on. Besides, like I said, if the spread is going to fluctuate, it's bullshit. The only way you could back test that is to find a broker that runs a fixed pip spread to see if it's even going to run on that broker, and run it with a fixed pip spread with the volatility that's built in to the volatility. In other words, a fixed pip broker has more volatility than a floating broker. Because they have to make up for the fact that they're going to take the ask into a good price for you. That it's going to move really blistering quickly. In other words, the liquidity provider. So this stuff's happening real time. In other words, when the market makes a big move into uncharted waters, we don't know how many pendings are out there across every platform on the planet now, and how many people are getting in at the market and going with the flow, and how many people are getting in on stops that are pending. Who's taking the other side of the trade? When do they run out? When does the market supposedly run out of? This is what the Urban Forex guy was saying, which I don't think they'd ever run out of. It seems that that's the idea that when it's overbought, it can't go any higher. No, it can keep going up. I mean, look at the S&P 500. Like, what on God's green earth, right? Now, I can't say the same for the UK 100 monthly. This thing is, to me, these people have stopped. I mean, well, I don't know. The same trade happened here, so I marked this off. This is the sell. It's double top in time, and it's divergence in RSI. How do we know there's divergence in RSI? Because if we draw a trend line on these tops and connect them, RSI is going to index that, and this is a failure swing, failure to touch that trend line on close. So momentum-wise, it died out, just like this one here. So I guess I just have to say all this shit I see. Because I've been looking at this shit for years, man. I mean, tell me, I'm waiting to hear something new. A trade block, ICT trade block, that was interesting. Look at this thing dipping into the well here. Somebody just scalped right to the floor of that monthly. I guarantee you that is a trade. And they're up. And are they going to buy this UK 100 monthly? Is this going to follow? Is the UK going to follow the United States into the oblivion? Look at this. Look at the world markets. This is a buy. For all intents, this is a buy. Is this pulling back into this hole? Now, is this the end? Is this a trap? It's actually coming back to this breakout point. Can you believe this shit? We've already come back there once. Now, this will be where people start gearing up for what? Are we just going to go off the rails to the north? And gold's going to go through the floor? Dude, you can just imagine the flat earthers whining about... Dude, I can't wait to watch YouTube in the next 6 months. I used to watch the X22 report, so well, I was basically relying on YouTube's algorithms. So they finally rewrote them so they're more diversified. They're more tangential. I know a lot of people are like, oh, dude, you don't own it. Don't worry about it. I mean, you know, what they're data mining, I could care less. It just doesn't matter, dude. You're going to die. Like, be a Buddhist. Life's suffering. I mean, the only thing you could really agree with Peterson on is life is suffering. It's what do you do about it? But yeah, the guy's a real tree hugger liberal. You know, it's just, and the thing is that here's the guy that's got all this Russian memorabilia. He's got like, I guess you can't, without becoming part of it. You can't discuss it without becoming part of it. So Peterson said that the person with the most power is the person that can speak. So he's a speaker. There you go. So plus he's just playing a chess game with his nomenclature, and of course he has the most. Anybody that's in the Carl Jung. When I heard he was in the Carl Jung, I go, here we go, got a mystic here. Dude, you can pick a story. You could say anything about anything. Has anybody seen the Jesse Livermore story? Just watched it again, Jesse Livermore, where he wiped everything out and all that stuff, and he was basically trading against. He knew how to trade against bucket shops, but he didn't know how to trade against the market because he was probably playing a market maker game, putting in limits, and then when he went and tried that in the, however he was doing it, his technique. But see, the same thing with turtle traders. So you have to look it up. Dennis, I think, Richard Dennis. But they would get in, say, here on buy stops, and they would say, well, we're eventually right. But see this punishment here? That's when they got a little beat up there. They got hurt. Put a hurt on there. So this like, look at this basement here. Amazing, isn't it? And whoever had the balls to step in here and buy this UK. Once again, every market's the same in this sense. I could go to every fucking chart on here, and everybody should be able to see these stupid-ass order block entries. This is blockhead shit. I'm sure that there's divergence in RSI right here, too. Don't forget this. I'm sure there's divergence there. Plus, we have the buy because it's down, buy because it's down, buy, Do not buy. Hold. So and look at all these buys. Buy. You can't just say buy. People are going to get hurt because it's going to come. Okay, I got that. But you're not all your trades are like that because you got in your heads. Your mechanical trader got in here short and, okay, he made money. Plus your limits were in here. You didn't fucking put your whole account into that market order, did you? Well, yeah, because you said just buy. I mean, I think this is what the big misunderstanding is. Of course, you can't just say, but look at this buy here. And you could have bought this down, and that wick probably just blew out your stops, though. But who couldn't see this vacuum forming? Who can't see these holes? My God, how long? You think trees grow to the sky like Jack and the Beanstalk shit? You think the markets go like this? Well, they do in your mind's, in your greedy mind's eye, because you've seen it happen. Like, I love people do this shit. You ever seen? It's true, the market is capable of that move, but dude, how often? Look at this painful trend. And look at it give it all back. What do you think they were saying in the news during this shit? This is 2005, man. Who the fuck's buying in here? Well, the big boys are stepping in. You gotta wait till the big boys buy. See, yeah, what do you call this shit? Look at this fucking wick here, dude. Well, that's the Brexit. You don't understand. You just can't. Gosh, do you get a fib? Do you even know how to use a fib tool? Son, I use Robinacci. Don't even talk to me. Fib this. Fucking your fibs lie to you. Oh God, that. Look, I got a cloud in here. That's my secret weapon. That's the trailing stop bot getting trapped. He's right here. He went short. It's good robot there. This dollar looks like it's ready to keep going up, man. This will be astounding. Now the dollar up, gold down. Fundamentally, makes sense. Of course, doesn't have to. Are we trapping the bulls here on the dollar Swiss? I gotta look at the dollar index first. I can't even talk about it yet. Look at the fucking NASDAQ. This could be the weather bell. NASDAQ's cooked. Let's come back into my pivot grid. 30-minute pivot grid. Look at this thing, nails it perfectly. Double top of the +3. Wow. NASDAQ. Weekly. I don't know, man. That's a one single brutal top there. Explain this. You just can't explain it. This 9:30 dead on here. Look how this clock is 1 minute ahead of the fucking... What the hell? This clock is different than my desktop clock. Well, I guess not. There's no... Okay, here we go. This is very precise. 1 minute. Boom. Let's go to the 1 minute chart. Oh boy. Let's not here. I gotta fix this scale to get a grip here. Unfix it. There we go. 1 minute chart. It's buy right now. Pull back. Got a triple bottom there in 1 minute. Oh, it's a sell. No, wait. It's buy. Wait, sell. Buy. This is the 100 pip grid on this thing. Spread's brutal though. I thought the spread was tight on them there futures. No, not as tight as I thought it was. It's 200. No, it's 20, like 20 pips. Oh boy. Look at the Dow 30. Oof. See, this looks like a trap to me. So, to me, this is a trap. This is ridiculous. Dow 30. It's just not right. This is the dream for Bitcoin traders. No, it's done. That's trapped. Come on. Really? So this is the breakout and the pullback on the weekly. We're going to keep climbing up. Oh boy, this is scary up here, man. As soon as the stock market turns around, what do you think you're going to hear from this fucking these Keynesian economicists? Who's his name? The guy that said the markets were going to crash when Trump won. The fuck's his name? Pulitzer Prize dick. Can't remember his name. Blocked it out. I blocked it out of my mind. So pissed off. These so-called scholars. Here's another tag back into that price here. Your classic tag back. Across all the indexes, it was all the same. This Robinacci guy says, you know, those people on the news, they just don't know. Here's the sell on the gold. Finally found the chart. That took a while. An hour and 10 minutes. Took me an hour to find this. Okay, here's your moreover bought at a lower price, but this looks like it's getting kind of long in the tooth. I don't know. Certainly for the auction guys, they bought this whole thing dumped here, and I don't know, man. Of course, this vacuum's getting huge now. We could get a nice $100 rally. Monthly says, a monthly crystal ball, nothing. But it's oversold, doesn't mean anything. And here's where it could just keep melting. Like the Wicked Witch. Look at that. Wow. Scary. It is scary, man. I feel bad for the gold traders. The gold bugs, the stackers. And here's supposedly, according to Andrew Cardwell, the DAX is the bellwether. And according to the DAX, you're fucked. You are so fucked because this. I don't know why the DAX is the bellwether. Look at that hole looking to be filled. Oof. Ouch. Then there's this one. What's going to happen? Do stock markets really go up forever? Look at this move. Look at this wonderful channel. Exquisite. Look at this thing respect that trend line. Kind of blows out, kind of test, like say, if you put an envelope on that, put a wick envelope, in fact, put a couple pitchforks on that. Put some Bollinger Band forks on that. Them Bollinger Bands just don't work. Give this thing some room. Wow. And what the hell's going on now? So, as far as the trajectory of this, if we don't hold this channel, and the wick window is pretty tight on this. If I put this to close and then the wicks, I'm going to take into account these punishing wicks, and then I'm going to double that. Give it a little bit of some room. And then I would say, okay, let's force a trade. I want to buy, or do I want to sell? Okay, let me get the channel within the channel. So I'm sure everybody that knows how to draw channels or has drawn a channel can get their brain around what I'm doing here. And this is classic, dare I say, technical analysis. It's more like geometric momentum analysis, let's call it. It's hard to call it what it is. Look at Starbucks here. Me and Mr. Starbucks. I'm kind of wired. Somebody broke into my place. So here is the wick window close up here. Actually, it's closing into this. I'm going to give it plenty of room to dick around. So you can make all sorts of suppositions here. And for me, visually, if I can imagine it coming into this miter box, I call it. Okay, so for all the criticism I have for geometry in the markets, I'm making a miter box for the market to walk into my geometry. So I'm not letting the market pick it. Well, the market's picking it, and this is kind of... There's another rate of change that's steeper within what I drew, and it looks like this. The current rate of change for me to as tight as you can get on the... This is the monthly, right here. Now, do you think that we could keep this rate of change going? So I know that this, if you go back here, you make the argument that this rate of change, an even steeper rate of change, swing high to swing low. Is this not a swing high? Is this not a swing low? That is, the market is capable of that kind of shit. And it's actually kind of, here's a month where you had this kind of price pulse. Here not so much, but it's not like it's not a good trade. And look at this move here. So I picked a conservative rate of change like this. Now you could pick whatever rate of change you want, and if you drew it off of this, and I've done many a chart like this, I've posted charts like this, and people go, I don't get what you're doing. Well, I mean, hopefully it's obvious that I'm trying to estimate. If this is your price pulse, I've done this many a time. Now, come to think of it. Okay, all you're doing is showing that that is a reasonable rate of change. Right, we've seen that rate of change on closing get broken. Here's the breakout point. It doesn't mean that if you bought the ranch here, they didn't come back here and stomp your nuts to pieces before it left the station. So you always have your buy limits here. Sure, you can draw this bullshit lines. One thing I would never do unless I was really going to want to overthink it is draw my trend lines on Wix, which I see people do, which I just don't think is the way to go because it takes in the volatility and it's just not as clean. Like, so you'd be like this. And now you are forcing that trade because you're taking advantage of this volatility diminishing. And that's all you're really doing there. Whereas if you're going to draw these on, so here's your top become a bottom on the German monthly DAX. Top becomes a bottom. Plus you've got this hole that's forming. And I draw a hard cutoff point here. But the hole actually, see, the trend line can't do what I can do with my, in other words, the market sees this. The trend line, the problem with trend lines is it's missing this story of the vacuum story. I don't know if that makes sense. I hope I'm not too much inside baseball for the people that just want to go, but dude, what's the trade? Wait, so I'm gonna start over. So I can draw this stuff very quickly because I'm using closing prices, so I can see the. I'm gonna go with really crude analysis here, so I just go like this. Okay, here's your channel. Here's your price pulse. These two lows. Okay, that's a rate of change. I can build a pitchfork out of that. I should be able to, right? Boom, there's your pitchfork. Now, does it call in the exact high here? It doesn't matter. You picked that rate of change. You could have just as easily said, well, you know what? I like to make money quickly, so I'm going to pick this rate of change, and then you could build this as your counter trend price pulse. And then you would take this through your miter box like this and say, okay. But you're never going to get a perfect, you're saying, well, when it swings into that line, I'll sell. It doesn't really swing into it here. You don't really get a second price pulse. Also, you're saying, well, when we get to the other side of the tracks, below the center of the fork, I will buy once we break. You'd have to redraw this. So the market's changing pace all the time. I think it's best to draw what's currently going on. So in simple terms, you could come to every chart on the monthly, and of course you don't have to draw this line too often. There you go. That ain't going to change. And you could come in and you could build a channel off of that. You could also do the Cardwell price pulse projection off of that. So there you go. That's done. And go to the next chart. This just looks like a bloody mess now that I think about it. And yeah, these markets could be in for quite the scream. The DAX is totally fucked, I think. Look at that thing, man. That's a trap if I ever saw one. I just think that's a trap. Like, they just trapped these poor goobers up here, and they're going to come after this thing now. It's just going to be like, look the fuck out. For whatever reason, Merkel's going to end up, turns out she's got a dick. Who knows? It's going to be something. But it's not going to matter. It's just going to happen anyways. The price is itching to just go fucking visit this shit, I think. And then it's going to be like, what are they going to say? Yeah, supply and demand. You know, when things are bad, like, so this is the Trump. Like I said, I have nothing against. Totally into what Trump's into as far as deregulation, and he's trying to spook people with tariffs to get the parties. He's trying to create a dialogue. But what happens when people realize that everything's been great this whole time? They really can't improve too much. And people are going to say, gosh, I just think that the wars are going to die out. Honestly, the world's getting small, too small for people to. Also, when it comes down to being a liberal, I'm a liberal when it comes down to, like, if I have to kill a mouse in my house, which I had to murder a couple meese in my house, and I did feel bad because I had a pet chinchilla, so I feel bad. But I'm like, dude, it's you or me. Like, I warned these. I had a mouse, and I said to him, if you don't shut the fuck up, I'm going to kill you. And he didn't shut the fuck up. So I had to take him out. I had to do it. And so, so for that, I feel bad. And I feel bad for all the, I guess people are not, it's not enough to be alive. So they're greedy for more. And I feel bad for the, but there's nothing I can do about it. So logic kicks in, and the next thing you know, you just have to go with the logic. What if your best friend is buying the market and you're shorting into it? So it's kind of tough to get over. My dad always said that if you short the stock market, you're un-American. But this is how you'd make money. Buying and selling. So, you're stuck how you've been, according to Ron L. Hubbard, you've been imprinted, you got an engram, you've been ingrained, and you have a way of seeing stuff. And that's the cause, for the effect. You're hardwired on some level to be a certain way. So, yeah, here we are. Coming into the end of the year. Very interesting. Less than 2 months. Then cha-ching. And then we're going to open into next year, the first quarter. Wow. I thought Bitcoin was shut down today. There was nobody trading it. Of course, it was Asian session. I thought, God. But this is an instrument that's being traded at a reputable. This is another thing that blows my mind. The Chicago Board of Trade, or the CME, Chicago Mercantile Exchange, decides to trade Bitcoin. They're going to make it a real instrument. Of course, they trade the weather there, so anything goes. But what the fuck does that mean? They last forever now? Because they traded at some exchange? I mean, corn's still there. Is it along with copper now? If Bitcoins go up, does electricity futures go up? If it takes electricity to make Bitcoin, Are there correlations in the market now? I mean, like I said, I've met people that would build 40 indicator. They'd make an index for that. I'm like, but yeah, what do you do with that? You built an index of Bitcoin versus electricity. Now what? Jesus, your head would spin. And you could just go for the dumbest fucking... People try the dumbest setups and make money. Over and over again. It's just rinse and repeat dumb shit fucking setups. And, well, yeah, another way to force a trade is go to the 1 minute chart, but you could force a trade on the hourly chart. When I say force it, I mean do something about the price and something, say I'm going to buy 13 pips deep. Fibonacci, 21 pips deep. You could actually probably write a book called, another thing, this, I don't know if anybody watches Jordan Peterson, but is this guy a flat earther? This guy, please explain to me. A guy goes 25 days without sleeping. He says, and he eats meat only, and he's good. I can't believe it. So that's like a guy saying, well, I trade Gartley's on the 1 minute chart, and I'm killing it. I just don't know. This end times are coming. How can you tell? But it is, we're coming into, of course, there are people that have built a whole career. I mean, look at, anybody watch the guy from Taxi? People built careers on just, how about the Unknown Comic? Anybody seen the Unknown Comic with a garbage bag on his head? A lot of people, to be in a stealth mode. Elvis is still alive. But yeah, it's going to be something else, man. They'll blame it on politics. So they have to have a reason that people say, oh, the news, you just see the market move because of the news. Dude, if you don't see that hole forming before the news, and the market just come rushing into it, I got to wonder here, can you tell me what the, like, here's a way to do it, because I did it for my dad. He wanted me to, he said, well, you want to trade stocks? Okay. Well, get research. So what I did was I found stuff like this on the chart, and I went to the newspaper, because he's a newspaper guy. And I said, let's see the newspaper right here, just before this plunge. What did the news say? They probably said something like this in the big news feeds. Well, we're in an uptrend. We expect everything to go very well. Technically, it looks like we're in an up channel, and the future looks very bright. We have broken out. That's right, we broke out. And this is our next target and beyond. And they were right. But this is kind of harsh. This is one big pullback. One giant pullback for man. One giant stop hunt for mankind. Look at that thing come back. And then here's another version of that, a fractal. This one, which seems pretty punishing in its own right, comes back to the structure of double top doji. Comes back, retest that top. Comes back, retest the top. Doesn't retest till here. But the dynamics, look at this retest here, but look at the dynamics from this compared to this move, compared to this. And look at this triple top. You can only imagine that the moving averages were all pointing up. Everybody's like, oh, this is going to be so wonderful. It's never going down. Who was, and then, oh, I had to wait, how many, oh, I had to wait till here to get out. Well, me and Mildred rode it all the way past down. We bought more down here. We did Martingale. We rode it to here. We did not get out. We were so fucking pissed because it came back to our entry, and then My neighbor Jed over here said that, no, this is the pullback to get in. You fucked up because the Fibonacci time sequence, and this is a 618 of that, and you don't know your fib. You don't even know how to draw a fib, son. You shouldn't even be fucking... Why don't you just get yourself a beer and forget this trading idea shit? Look at this bottom become a top here. And this is the double bottom everybody bought. They go, no, this is the pullback, dude. It's going to go up now. Oof. That's why you're short here right now. Your mechanical bot is short. And he's looking to cash out. And you're looking to buy in limits here and here and here all this year. So, if I really wanted to make those calls, and who couldn't make this call and be right, and say, okay, here I'm making this call. Look back at this video, back in there. Go look at it. I guess that's why I'm dating him now. But what do I say on that date? Of course, you have to be tortured hour and 30 minutes into this, but. Yeah, actually the date's not on my calendar here to prove it, but I guess you'd have to go to we're coming up on the end of the year. And we could have a perfect price pulse channel-wise into this downline into, right now it happens to be October 9th, 2018. And tomorrow's going to be Wednesday, Wild Wednesday, and it's going to be crazy. This looks like it could plunge. So, if I got in here, I'm already getting out and going selling. Why am I selling? Because they went up here and they broke out. The first breakout is always fake on some level, unless it really cuts through hard. So, here they trapped you. If you compress this. So if they went up into this 15-minute rooftop here, and here's the ultimate fill, is right here. I don't know if they filled you there, though. Pretty tight, but you did get filled. I don't know if the spread spread's tight enough. So that was a good sell. And the Eager Beaver sold here, and they're up. So if you sold everything from this rooftop, and then another order bank that starts in this undercut, you're up in those trades. Now you bought this pullback into this pivot or into this high. If you go with the last known kind of high, got filled here, or you're out of the trade now. Now you're waiting. Oh, now I would put in limits here coming into the evening. All night long I have limits in this box. This whole week I've got orders that start here. So it goes way back. And then I got all next week, well, the rest of the year. I can just put orders in here because I know I'm going to want to buy this. And we should have some scalp banks in that for a dead cat bounce of some type. And as you zoom out, you see on and on how this is ripe for the pickings here. If it ever gets in this, you're going to want to buy that. So having the scalps interwoven is going to pad your account from the inevitable shearing off that you get like this, where it just goes blasting into this, cuts into this. You'd have to space your orders to take this. Now you didn't get filled at the bottom there. Look at this this wick. Took it to there, but did not take it to here. It's only 15 minutes apart. I think a lot of people are going to cash out here. Especially if they're underwater. And this is the first. So why is this such an active area? Because of that new low. It cuts back up into this. People are cashing out there. Sellers, trend traders come in, jump on it. Sorry, it's a 4-hour chart. So it's quite profound. That's your buy zone. So if you're going to do low volatility breakouts on the 4-hour, it's different than the limit entry. So here's your trigger. Say it's under 25 pip 4-hour wicks. Here your orders are stacking up, but you had to take something on that plunge. Here's the ultimate entry, but it's only one ticket. Ultimate entry, one ticket, where here's multiple tickets are triggered, and here you're filled on buy stops right now by default. Like I said, you'd probably want to have a buy limit in there and a buy. Like in other words, you want to and have that market order running. So you're up on the market orders where you're not necessarily up on the stop entries. So if you have a combo plate, you bought here and you're break even, and you bought here and you're up. You got here on stops, here on limits. The limit and the market orders are doing better than the stop entries. So you could not live by stop bot alone. Like unless that stop bot can come in and put in sell stop, sell stop. In other words, sell stop, sell stop, buy stop, buy stop. How many tickets? How tight? All right. Now we're rejecting this floor here on the 4-hour. This bottom is supposed to become a top. We're supposed to keep on tanking. What if we don't? Can we go the other way? Or are we wedded to the idea of trading in one direction? Yes, if you're a trend trader, you're wedded to the idea of trading one direction. You're inflexible if you can't counter trend trade it, I suppose. Hit the flip of a coin and say, it looks like the trend's over. Honey, trend's over. Yeah, trend trade's just not working this week. The gay trend trader. It's not this week. It's not a trend. It's so not a trend this week. Like I said, that's something that probably hasn't been taken yet. And I'd jump on that right now before they get rid of that gender equality thing. In other words, you might as well pull a Peterson and ride the storm. Gay Forex, can I help you? I'm sorry, your ticket was not... Sorry, you did not put a 12-hour pending in. You only put a 15-minute in. I'm so sorry. Yes, they stole your compressor, but there's nothing we can do about that now. So I was going to call the pawn shop, but they changed the rules here where you got to call the police now. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to call the police. I called the police 2 years ago when I had something stolen. And they're like, I swear to God to you, the lady goes, are you sure you want to fill this out? Yeah. Okay. She put me on hold for like 2.5 hours. And I caved. Dude, you're looping some fucking music. Like, press 5 for Elvis. Where's the fucking... Why don't these people... If these fucking corporations have voicemail that's interactive, like press 5 for bad porn, press 6 for jokes, press 7 for rude jokes, press 8 for Beethoven. No, you're on hold to some fucking bullshit. Dude, I tell you what, if I owned the cable company or I own any of these banks, I'd be like, dude, we have the best hold music of any fucking place. In fact, we write our own music. Bank of America hold music by the Bank of America Orchestra. Oh yeah, I'm sick of this fucking conventional shit. That's why I also am very critical of all this conventional wisdom fucking shit I see. The 20 EMAs, you just want to throw up. This shit gets under my skin so bad. Yeah, I'd rather have somebody rob my house. It's less pain. At least I'm being nice to the robbers. Now, you can't believe it, dude. Like, this is the second time I've been broke into, and they pass over vintage audio gear worth thousands of dollars to take, like, a wire. Extension cords. Fucking hysterical. They did steal my memory chips that I had sitting up, but I don't know if it's the right kind of memory. But like, you know, so you don't. It's best to be a Buddhist. You don't own anything. You're gonna die. It's a great state of mind to trade from. Is that count on losing on this trade? Yeah, put your pennies out there. I kind of like it. I kind of am soothed by the chaotic risk. It's a strange kind of tranquil death of a thousand cuts. It almost becomes like, you ever seen these people that are cutters? They cut their arms and they ask people, why you cut your arm? They go, so I can feel alive. Well, you know, as soon as you get into any trade, now it may be a painful feeling and it may feel dirty because you're making money from making a decision. I thought that that was a terrible work ethic, where I really do think that even robbing a house takes risk and work, a physical labor, and even making something, building a table. You're like, okay, well, I couldn't just one-click that. But trading is weird because you can literally one-click your way to fortunes of money. Or single drop order your way with enough drops. But then again, like I said, I'm into radicals. Like I said, I think it's, I'm attracted to the markets because they're chaotic. So actually people that are chaotic are a lot of fun, but they're also risky. So I cut down on those people lately. Some people. Because it's just, it's a lot, the market's plenty. And of course, once you're good at chaos, it's a samurai approach to life, where today's a good day to die. So today's a good day to blow up your account. And a lot of people are horrified at that by that thought. Therefore, they are going to break out the Fibonacci tool to try to use that as a bromide to cure the fear of losing, or fear of being wrong, or you can fill in the blank. It's quite a deep order list, and everybody has their own language that they use to describe a loss. Somebody dying is a loss that's unrecoverable. If you lose in the market, you could probably make it back, and then people say, well, you shouldn't revenge trade. And I say, why not? Does it mean that your next decision is going to be the same? That's so funny. If you really examine the stuff people say about the traders in the market, well, don't revenge trade. Really? Let's just stop trading altogether. Well, don't revenge trade. I guess the idea there is you're all pissed off, you can't think straight. No, can't you just be pissed off and think straight? I mean, what if you're pissed off and I have a button I can press, and I've pressed that button before when they stop me out of the trade? I'm like, those motherfuckers. And what I do is I put in buy stops as the market's dropping. I won't put in buy limits. And when the news comes out and the market slams down hard, I'll actually trade on stop entry. Because, I mean, unless I'm going to put limits way out there, I'll put tight stops in as it's dropping. But I don't want to buy at the market, because the market can shear. And so I have a button for that. I'm like, God damn. I'm getting this. And then I will not buy at the market once they fill, because I'm actually hugging it with stops. I'm talking about a super fast move, big fast move. Because if I pull the trigger with a 20 pip stop at the market, they're just going to blow that ticket out. But if I have I've got 6 stop keys, and I know the first one's a scalp, and they're contoured, so you have 15-minute stops, and you have half hour and 1 hour. But you can build any kind of scheme you want to get in these markets. You could be throwing out limits in front, single drops manually. As the market's coming down, catch a falling knife with single drops. You can have a double click array that comes in with all tickets. You could buy at the market, but I wouldn't recommend it, because you could buy at the market, but you'd have to wait an hour to pull the trigger. So when I say buy at the market, I'm talking about the time frame I'm on. So say I have limits here, then I buy at the market, then I buy at the market, then I can dump. I wouldn't buy this. In other words, I'm going against what just happened at the market. I guess how I describe it, counter trend trading. So big bull candle sell, big bear candle buy. On the time frame I'm on, limited to that trigger pull on that time frame. So here would be sell, 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 sell. And then finally I make the money, but I have to buy here and get out of everything. And so if I get out everything here, I buy, then I buy again. Then I got to sell, then I got to buy, then I got to sell, then I got to buy, then I got to sell. Buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. But that's just for that one ticket. In the meantime, you're aware of the structure, so you'd have your limits here. If you're trading too big at the market, you won't have enough money left over for the limits. Plus, if you start to buy at the market heavy here, you're going to cancel some of these limits, or you're going to blow up the account. If the account's big enough, it can handle it. You can handle all this insanity. Trust me, if there's money in the account, you can be completely nuts. You can be like, yeah, sell limits up here, fucking buy limits here, sell, buy, sell. And you've built the account up enough. I would not, I really don't like the idea of, so here's the way I see money management. If you're going to come in and put $1,000 in this account, or $500, you should be able to turn the $500 into $1,000. So say you have $500 in the account, and here you make it to $1,500, and then you get a little chopped around here. But how did you get to this? How big did you trade during this? Then I would go and just trade that same amount of tickets. If it was 20 10Ks, just trade the same amount of tickets and treat it like you only got $500 in the account. Because if you can make $500 every week, that's still, if there's 4 weeks, there's still $2,000 a month. And now you're not going to trade heavier because there's $2,500 in the account. But some people will. And it's not to say you can't do better like that, but it's better to retire the account if you've quadrupled it in 1 month or 2 months or 2 weeks. And if you did the triple screen trading, which, in other words, inside of this 4 hour, on the 1 hour chart here is probably an amazing triangle of some type or whatever. Plus you're aware of this hole itching to be filled. expectations of some type of drama here at these prices, and then everybody's going to get out here. People are going to get, not everybody, but people are going to get out there. So it's very, you have to be careful not to fall into the thinking that there's only one way to make money, because you see a big move and you think, well, the big boy's there, and then you're going to wait and be a guy that chases the market. When you have to, like I said, if you got a Fibonacci here, it just doesn't make sense. It's better to think in terms of, I'm going to put a stop here, a stop here, a stop here, and I'm going to sell, sell, sell. I'm going to give the market room. This top ticket's going to be the least amount of risk. This is the most amount of risk. You have an array there. You would have made money this week had you bought everything. Well, you'd be either stopped out or underwater on this ticket. But if you'd bought this whole and just walked away and let it play out, now they're breaking out. And maybe your breakout bot is getting involved in that, but your market bot isn't, because you closed up. So maybe you sell lightly. So you have no trade here the last 4 hours from a market standpoint. Like I said, market orders based on the price pulse and closing prices. You just, and then now we're looking at this next hole to be filled here. I'm counting on the no. So after you have somebody breaking your house, you're thinking, well, they're going to break my house again in the next 5 seconds. Okay. I guess they didn't get their welfare check on time. They already used it up. So here we have the so that was a big deal. There's your lack of volatility. The breakout goober bot goes in. Bargain hunters, liquidity. So this goes all the way back, then down over. In 4 hours, we would sell something. And maybe we're already out of something that has an 8 pip take profit. If we bought here with a stop here, we're at break even. I mean, we're at 1-to-1 ratio there. Do we let it drift into the line and open? Can we make it to here by line and open? If we do, we want to sell out of that stuff. What else? Let's take a look at this other. But you have to arrange the tickets. It's difficult. You're going to create a matrix of orders based on how much time you got for this shit. Look at this thing just keep drifting up. Look at RSI overbought nonstop. Now this is when RSI people get burned. That RSI don't work. I'm selling up. Yeah, we got to go to the half hour to see the reversals here. So it's time frame dependent. Like I said in the other video, this is 0 or X. This is 1, 2, 3, 4 period reversal. More oversold. Higher price. Top become a bottom. Top become a bottom. More oversold. Higher price. Perfect RSI setup. Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 period. 2 to 5 periods the best. Now it's getting long in the tooth. Kind of a buy there. 15 minutes a little tough because there's a lot of divergence here. Here on the 15, it's better to use the 7-period RSI. Obviously. Just like if you have a 5-minute chart, the 21 EMA looks a lot better on the 5-minute chart than the 5-week chart. It's just untradeable from a rule set like an Alexander entry where the bears are being held below the 13 exponential moving average EMA. Like here's your better structure on the 15, more oversold, higher price. All right, more oversold, higher price. Spread's kind of tightened up now. It's New Zealand dollar. So they've trapped people on the. So this is the trade I'm in. Oh no, I got these are buys. Okay, I'm underwater. These are buys that I bought way back here. So I'm waiting to get back to break even there to get out. This one's screaming north, and if I turn off my entries and turn on my take profits, it looks like this. Stops and the take profits are the same color. Entries, there's only one color, and that's for volume. So here's my take profit. So I can scooch these up just to that rooftop, right around the round number, and I'll just scooch these up. And now I'll do something that I don't normally do, and I'm going to move this up to trailing stop. So normally I'm just too arrogant to really move these and too lazy. I'm like, fuck it, we're not going down there again. And I want to keep the metric, although I did move my take profits, so I'm not sure which one of these connected to which, but sorry. So I intervened manually here on top of the drops, but they were not robotic; they were manual drops. So yeah, it's okay. Like I said, it's a demo. I don't give a fuck. But yeah, stock markets look like they've had it here. It looks like the stock markets. DAX is starting to crash here. DAX looks fucked. And so does gold. And Bitcoin looks fucked. That's just going in this massive triangle forming here on Bitcoin. We got to break this. Got to break out of this congestion. Dollar CAD. Looks like dollar Swiss. Everything's just kind of getting all drifty here. Everything looks the same. British pound just broke out of that stupid goober trade. So, hey, risking a little bit there. I think these are 10 pip handles. So that's a 20 pip bar. British pound. But you have to take something out of that. Because you're getting trapped a little bit there right now. Daly's crushing north. And Brexit's over, right? So is this the Brexit crush? Look at that thing coming out of the basement. Right there. Wow. Crazy shit. I don't know. So anyways, there you go. That's that.